Yeah, 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 yada baby. Let's rewind to a better time as a youth before we had an mind. No hurt, no stress, just pure design. But then you turn 18 and like fall in line. Got bills to my neck drop. On quest to the greatness, no rest stops. In control of my own destiny. Life's a beat, then your chest stop. Flatline. Yeah. I play the game from the start, yeah. A bench player turn to starter motherfuckers in the game, alright, yeah. I play the game from the side, yeah. A bench player turn to starter motherfuckers in the game, alright. What you done as a lady? All that I hear from my high school peers. What you thought that a nigga shift years? I ain't heard from you in some years. Oh, you got a kid? Oh, nigga, more like two. You got a degree, should I be more like you? I ain't gonna tell you that I thought of giving up. Cause in a short time, watch a nigga live it up like that. Yeah. I'm saying that I'm doing the shit for my own. Play the game from the side, yeah. A bench player turn to starter motherfuckers in the game, alright, yeah. I play the game from the side, yeah. A bench player turn to starter motherfuckers in the game, alright, yeah. I hope it make for a promising future, man. I can thumb through the hundreds. I got family out east, my brother probably stuck in the hundreds in the game, so deep in the guts I was coming. Yeah, and now I did it all, chopping so onions. Call me Chef Yada, sifting this flour. Sold all my work, I was rich in 3 hours, but not quite. People say you want the paper, then you gotta sell it off white. I took Plan B, a nigga sold me a limited little Camry, and I flipped that. I mean, I could've got my shit back, but my freedom I could risk that. And the Jake's trying to frisk that, cause I got these dreams. I mean, ghetto dreams, man. I'll be the fat pat. Never dwell on the setbacks. Oh no. Just prepare for the get back. Time never wastes, and I know. Put it all on the line. I'll put it all on the line. And I'ma die for the shit. Only thing that matters, man, is time. Yeah. I play the game from the side, yeah. A bench player turn to starter motherfuckers in yeah. I play the game from the side, yeah.
From bench player to starter, that boy coming in hot, straight out of the desert. It's that in just a second. What's good? Welcome to Emano Talk. It's your boy, your host, Daniel Emano. And I am here with, all the way from the West Coast in Las Vegas, Kenyadda. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm Kenyadda for those who don't know. Thanks. That's one of my favorite tracks, too, that you played. You know, underrated track, but it's going to get heard.
Yeah, that track's a banger right there. And that's why we had to set it off, right? What have you done lately? And that's how we're going to kick it off, because we got some questions to ask. We got to get to know some things. But before we ask you what have you done lately, we got to ask you, who is Kenyadda? Where are you from? How'd you get into music? All that good stuff.
Well, I'm Kenyadda. I'm originally from Chicago, you know, so I just recently kind of moved to the West Coast, Vegas. So I'm kind of repping Chicago and Vegas. And I started off young into music, you know. I started as a singer initially, you know, probably like 5 or 6 or whatnot. And then as I got older, I transitioned to rap, you know. So, and I kind of combine them in a sense, you know, add the melodies and then have the raps. And I produce as well, you know. I started taking producing serious like maybe 8 years ago.
Okay, well, let's talk about singing. You said you started off as a singer. How'd you get your start as a singer?
And basically, man, just going around the house, you know, heavy influence, the Temptations. You know, I'm a huge Temptations fan. Like Temptations and Michael Jackson, you know, that played all throughout my childhood. And I kind of got into singing, you know, like they kind of inspired me, you know. So that's why I started, you know.
And you said you're from Chicago, which is a real soulful place for musicians. I mean, you know, tons of talent has come out of Chicago, from Kanye West to Chance the Rapper, Common, and so many more people, you know, and not even just in hip hop. So, you know, to hear you had that kind of roots in music is actually pretty cool, because usually most people are like, yeah, you know, my boy put me on a beat, and that's really how it started. But it sounds like you actually got to dive into music, you know, as a musician first, and then really transitioned on over to this lyricism side of things. So what is it that made you realize, like, you know what, I kind of like rapping a little more than I do singing?
Well, I think that the content matter in rap, you know. In rap, you can go places you can't as a singer, you know. And like I delved into Biggie early, you know, Pac, Tupac early, Jay-Z, and the things that they were saying, I'm like, I want to say that, you know what I'm saying? And there's certain subjects I want to say that if you're a singer, you can't necessarily get it off, you know what I'm saying? You can't reach that audience. And with rap, you can be so expressive.
Yeah, and now you could see singers are starting to transcend as far as like what they have to sing about goes. Because usually when it used to come to singing, it was like, all right, you're singing, so it's got to be like a love song or a really sad song. But now you have people
Exactly.
like The Weeknd who are kind of like changing that up a little bit and just putting a little more raw emotion into singing. And it's not necessarily anything people are truly accustomed to. Now it's this brand new kind of sound that people are now just finally getting a taste of. So I can see where maybe like how you even said like you were producing 8 years ago. So I'm assuming that when you started rapping, this was quite a while ago, and back then, that really wasn't the trend with singing. So I could see where you're coming from. And you yourself, you're even like a connoisseur of old hip hop. You said, hearing certain subjects that Biggie, Tupac, Hove, all these people were talking about caught your attention. But yeah, you're a connoisseur of classic hip hop. Talk to us a little bit through that, because obviously you really know your history, and you look for things that I feel like really only an acquainted ear could seek.
Yeah, so pretty much, like I love hip hop to the core. So I appreciate everything that each coast has to offer, even overseas. So I picked up on a lot of. We're from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest, so you in the middle and you kind of soak up all that. So I got a lot of early, influences from like, which is probably surprising, like Nelly. You know, in the Midwest, we have Jay Dilla, Kanye, obviously Eminem, and even down south, Outkast is a huge influence. UGK is a huge influence. So I kind of pretty much take all these sounds and flows and kind of make them my own, and then you kind of get Kenyatta. So I just picked up on a lot of hip hop. I love hip hop, so I just keep digging into hip hop. It's still a lot of hip hop out there that I still have to scratch the surface.
Yeah, but it shows in your music because it looks like you try to, be versatile when it comes to what kind of hip hop that you try to put yourself toward. That, you kind of make sure that you remain in a certain area, but that you're able to flex around in different, semi areas within that one area. I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
and
like that.
yeah, and that's like my goal. Like always, as a hip hop artist or rapper, you want to have, if you want to be the best rapper, you know what I'm saying? So I go out there every time, like I want to be the best rapper, but production, I can change up the production and whatnot and show my range. So it's not like I'm just sticking to one sound, you know what I'm saying? Show people, hey, I can do this, that, and the third, but still keep that essence of pure lyricism, you know what I'm saying? Content matter. So
Okay. So when you now transitioned into hip hop, right? How old were
yeah,
you around this time?
and I was still young, so probably like what is fourth grade? Like 11? Yeah, I think around 11. Around fourth
Yeah,
grade,
like
I
9 or I
started.
think it's like around 9 or 10. Yeah, like leading toward 11 years old.
Yeah, so around that time, I kind of started transitioning into to as an MC, a rapper, and I just had a notebook full of rap. I would just like listen to a CD, whatever CD I was listening to, and I would just kind of write to their instrument. I would write over their songs, as practice, and I just kept going at it and slowly transition. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I do try to sneak melodies in there, and whatnot, and write for other singers and whatnot. But rapping, what I'm saying, that's when it started, real young, and I just carried it out to now.
Yeah. But it shows because you're quite the wordsmith, but that singing side of you definitely shows because your hooks are extremely melodic, and it feels like you know how to keep yourself in a certain key and maintain within the style of the song. Which is something that you see a lot of hip hop artists having to learn along the way, because usually they could spit bars and make hooks, but they're not melodic hooks. They're not anything that it's like a real groove to it. But what you do, you definitely try to incorporate that in there. And I really like it because it's like, although it's more of a classic hip hop sound, I feel like you're bringing it more modernized because you're bringing your taste of singing to it. And it's not like where maybe you're just sampling some sort of melody, like you're really more so creating your own melody. Now for yourself, when you're meshing these two styles together, how do you try to keep yourself, as unique as possible? Because sometimes I feel like when it comes to that catchy, groovy, melodic hip hop, a lot of people, you kind of hear somewhat of the same styles. I mean, when you look at like Lil Uzi Vert, Juice WRLD, and all these people, you kind of hear the same sound to an extent. How do you look to make sure that you try to keep yourself a little differentiated as far as that goes?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say. I don't think I pull from rap. I think I pull from other genres. When it comes from their melodic sound, like I listen to some soul or R&B, rock. Anything different rather than, hey, let me only listen to rap. And pull from there. So I try to pull from other places, especially when I'm creating, when I'm writing or anything, to pull from. And I don't think a lot of artists do that. There are some, obviously some of my peers do that, but I don't think a lot of artists go to different genres and pull the way that they structure their songs and the way they sing certain melodies and bring it back to hip hop.
All right, well, let's bring it back to hip hop real quick. I got another song right here from you. This next track we got right here is called D.A.B.S, D.A.B.S. And this one's by Kenyadda. It's a little bit of a throwback here, but y'all tune on in right here on Emano Talk.
Saying I never hurt you, the simple things, forgetting your favorite color was purple. Well, who the hell remembers that? Not even Romeo, you wasn't like my homie though, like my Lisa Turtle. I was Screech in the sense what I was at, with a vengeance trying to be your fucking player, but you end up with a Slater. What a traitor some friends are, and yours are commentators. But fuck it, I know that life has its damn elevators. Now I trapped up in the shell, after dealing with Chanel, we raised hell, but oh well, ain't the type to sit and dwell. That's a whole story to tell, and I hate the kiss and tell, cause if I say some shit honestly, it might turn into a tale. But oh well, I'm just focused on my skrilla. These women ain't so deceiving. She fucking my nigga driller. Guess that pussy's a killer. Make you do crazy things. Who am I to blame her? I was once her nigga. I just thought you was a down ass bitch from the start. Turned out you was a clown ass chick who broke my heart. Thinks I never fall again. Yeah, and thinks I never fall again. I thought you was a down ass bitch from the start. Turned out you was a clown ass chick who broke my heart. Thinks I never fall again. Yeah, and thinks I never fall, yeah. I have dreams of fucking the R&B chick. I have dreams of fucking the pop chick. Well, I'm hot shit, and who wouldn't touch this? Let's keep it 100. I fuck some pop bitches, but who doesn't wanna be like Justin Slayer? From the same time I broke it off for Kayla, met Carissa, then I dicked a few years later. I had a baby by my nigga Paris. I know he embarrassed, cause she was a hoe, and women be poking holes, and niggas be wiping hoes. But I balance the cons and pros of this relationship atmosphere. But I think it's time we grow. That's what I told her. But I'm getting more older and wiser. But that's probably why I hold this grudge on my shoulder. Just wanna get deep inside her. Hard torch with a fire mixed with a little liar. Shit, I'm sorry, Micaiah, and every other girl I played. On this quest to get laid, relax and sit in the shade. I'm hoping I don't get played at this rate. And at this rate, shit like you probably got along. And at this rate, shit like you probably got along. And at this rate, shit like you probably got along.
We're gonna go back to back real quick. That was D.A.B.S by Kenyadda, but this next track right here, y'all tune on in. This next track is called Holla If You Hear Me by Kenyadda, featuring Julian, Robertson. Y'all tune on in right here on Emano Talk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's loading. There we go.
I'm Mr. Triple Double, lived through Oscar Robertson, Mr. Russell, Magic Johnson. I got visions, my people live in subtle dry ways. Quarter mile, yeah, I'm still in style. Hold on, I got it. I'm Mr. Triple Double, lived through Oscar Robertson, Mr. Russell, Magic Johnson. I got visions, my people live in subtle dry ways. A quarter mile, Coogee, I'm still in style, incarcerated. Scar faces hoping they blow their trials. The oldest child and golden child, I'ma hold you down. Shit is hard, I'm drinking whiskey with focus now. Took advice from my little brother, say slow it down. Whole time I'm talking to pops, the streets done changed. These young kids can't walk through the blocks. How I'm supposed to help when these niggas is just like the cops? I'm fighting two wars. The people are telling me stop, just focus on yours. I want the best for my people, so holla if you hear me though. Holla if you hear me though. Holla if you hear me though. I want the best for my people, so holla if you hear me though. Holla if you hear me though. Holla if you hear me though. I want the best for my people, so holla if you hear me. I got 21 questions.
And that was Holla If You Hear Me featuring Julian Robertson by Kenyadda. That was a bit of a newer track. I know D.A.B.S was a little bit of a more old school track, but this is more of a newer track because you just dropped this year. You have What Have You Done Part 1, which you dropped last year, and now you have What Have You Done Lately Part 2, which dropped earlier this year. And that's one of the tracks off of it. I believe that's the opening track on it, right?
Yep. And then the next is Come Home, you know. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah, we got that one. We got that one lined up a little bit later. We're gonna run that one too. But talk to me about this What Have You Done Lately project, because obviously it seems like a series. So take me through your thought process on that, because obviously the pandemic hit and that shifted every artist's, you know, entire plans, because obviously everybody's trying to base their plans around live performances, being able to engage with fans face to face, but obviously everything changed. So how did things change for you, and how did it lead into the idea of What Have You Done Lately?
well, initially it kind of started from the Janet Jackson record, you know, What Have You Done Lately, you know. So the idea started from there, and in my mindset, I was like, that's what the rap game, you know, the industry is about. It's always about the latest work, you know what I'm saying? Because people always go back and say, well, he's not doing this. If you can have a whole catalog of great music, but people still want you to be hot currently, you know what I'm saying? So I think that matters, you know, to an extent, you know, it matters. So, but during this pandemic, you know, um, it kind of helped me in a bit, helped me slow down, and helped me actually get my goals out on where I want to go with my music.
Okay. And you recently became a father as well. Did that factor into any of this as well?
Uh, I mean that's been brewing. That's been brewing for a while because I have two actually. So
Oh, you have two.
you know,
Okay.
oh yeah, I have two. I've been a father for about 4 years. So that has been brewing for a while, you know. So like 4 years back, you know. So it's kind of been brewing, but I finally got it into play, you know, last year with the lately one I dropped, you know. So I'm kind of make this like a series, you know, thing for the fans, you know, like hey, here goes another lately, you know what I'm saying? It's for the fans.
And did you produce everything on What Have You Done Lately?
I actually did not produce everything on What Have You Done Lately. So the first What Have You Done Lately, um, I have Johnny Bung who produced Say It. The What Have You Done Lately track, that's actually PD, one of my producers back in Chicago, PD Beats. And Cap and Gowns, obviously, that's a Jay Dilla beat, you know. So I just kind of used
Yeah,
it for
that one I
lyrical
already knew
exercise.
that one.
And then the current project, um, Holla If You Hear Me, I got that beat from one of my rapper friends, Jonathan Stewart. And the Come Home is actually produced by 40 Mil and a new label that I'm involved with, Rebellion Records. So he sent me that, and I got to it immediately.
Okay. Because I really like the touch of production, but you yourself, you're a great producer. And do you think is this going to lead toward maybe something that you're going to produce more on? Maybe that What Have You Done Lately was just kind of like a appetizer of sorts?
Yes, I think I want to start getting some of my production out there more. You know, usually if I don't produce a track, I usually do post production on a track. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. You know, I always try to add my flavor to it, but I definitely want to get into rapping on, you know, making music off of my records.
Okay. How important is it for you now, especially after the pandemic, or like as the pandemic is still going, that you understand the music you put out is more so something you feel rather than, you know, something that you try to plot on to an extent? Like, because I feel like a lot of people think they need to fully plan everything rather than, you know, what is the feeling off of this track. So did that become more of an importance to you to understand, like, all right, what I feel on this track is, you know, what's going to ultimately make the track?
Yeah, that it definitely helped. Like, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but during the pandemic, you're seeing a shift of the type of music people were into because they weren't able to go out to clubs, so certain records like that didn't resonate with them because they weren't out or they weren't able to get out,
I feel like
or
that's why a whole lot of Red kind of flopped. I really don't think it was a successful album.
so I mean that could be the reason, what I'm saying, things like that happen is because, when you're not out, and certain artists make certain type of music, that might be the result. So a lot of music when people going through things in life, they need that type of music to speak to them. So which is like your everyday music, that most people go through. And that's what I try to mix it all up, but that's it's probably 70% of my music, relating to the everyday person.
What do you think were some of the best albums to drop during the pandemic?
Ah, pandemic. I'm trying to think what dropped.
Well, I know Benny dropped his album, if I'm not mistaken. He
Benny's
dropped his
definitely up.
album, Burden of Proof.
Benny, Big Sean
Yeah, Big
is
Sean
one of
dropped
my
his shit, was pretty fire too. I'm pretty sure Alfredo dropped during the pandemic too, because that was in 2020. If not, it
definitely
dropped
Alfredo.
before. Yeah. Nas dropped King's Disease.
I heard
That was
that.
fire, and he
That
won
was
his
dope
first
too.
Grammy. So shout out to Nas there.
Yeah, shout out to Nas, well deserving. Long overdue. I think
Yeah,
my favorite was probably Big Sean. I think
yeah.
that was my favorite. Big Sean or probably Benny the Butcher.
Yeah,
Those were
Benny
my
was
two
definitely
favorites.
mine, but I feel like a lot of people slept on Big Sean's. I feel like your style is somewhat similar to like his, where he's very flexible on the style of production he could go on. He's very good
Yeah.
and versatile with his flows. He does have that melodic side to him where he could, kind of make that R&B switch. Hence, the album he had with Janae Aiko. I feel like
Yep.
you kind of got that similar vibe to him. Why do you think it's that a lot of people really underestimate an artist like that?
Well, you for artists like Big Sean, I think that still played a factor because he makes both sides of the spectrum music as well. So and he tours a lot. He's good at touring, and you can't tour right now. And I think a lot of these records will pop off if he was touring. But I think the record will age well. He does have that to his advantage that his records will age well. But it's hard. It's hard sometimes to judge that because of his other competitors, J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake. So I think it's just so many people to choose from that he can get lost in there. And he took a hiatus as well.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, I always look at his tape, Finally Famous 3, as like one of
Yeah.
those tapes that kind of like shaped this new generation of music. You know,
Yeah, he definitely, his flow, I've seen it borrowed so many times. So
that
I
Whoa
think
There Boy, that whole Whoa There Boy
yeah,
flow that he had going on, man, I'm telling you.
I definitely think he was out of the rappers to come out in the past 10 years. I definitely think he's probably, like the top four, top five of the rappers
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
come out
say
the
he
last
kind of
10
like
years.
feels like the Russell Westbrook of music, like of hip hop right now to an extent, where not a lot of people give him his flowers. Yet this man, every time he produces, it's like triple doubles.
Yeah, he goes there every time out the gate. He gives you a single. He moves you, so he never misses a beat, and his lyrics are on point. Definitely a dope MC, and I watched his whole come up, and definitely talented brother. So
All right, well, let's jump
love
on
Big
into
Sean.
another track real quick. Here we are. So this next track I got here, we actually kind of mentioned it earlier, but we got Say It right here by Kenyadda. So y'all tune on in right here on Emano Talk.
Yeah, yeah, sing, sing, yeah. Say, but only if I'm going too far, far. Say, but only if I'm going too far, far. Say, but only if I'm going too far, far. Say, yeah, yeah. These the type of beats I live for. I move my brand out to Vegas, all best on nigga, just trying to live more. I got kids to feed. I seen family members leave. That's why the heart of caller still on my sleeve. Damn, I ain't trying to die before I'm able to supply. And nights like these will make you overthink the ride. And if this don't work out, I'm not cooking fries. 50 told me how to ride when I'm deprived. Damn, my dreams have had me on some whole other shit. Rob your brother shit and I'm losing sleep, nigga, because of it. 5 in the morning, still going the night before though. Instagram got live telling I like through photos. Pictures with no meaning, but who am I to judge? I'm an old soul, just might give you an unplug, but I'm still new. Here to take out the artist's mildew. Hard to voice an opinion, them social niggas will kill you and try to get you canceled. I ain't trying to ruffle feathers, but I'ma need the crown when I survive through this era. Cause every time I open my mouth, it's constant terror. Over aggressive tones, say nigga, get it together. But I can't stop, won't stop. Spirit of big, hustle a puff. Enough is enough, them records I huff. And niggas try to rebuttal, but my sales I love. And if we listen to that stance, the best water hammer pans. And I ain't saying I don't wanna do numbers and break records, but artists go great measures for those who want break cheddar. When you're down bad or when opinions don't line up, all of a sudden it's hate letters. And what have you done lately? And the list start to pop up. You think this shit gravy? All you did for the game, and you don't see your name, forget it. You dropped 80 like 24. It's crazy how they quick to forget, don't believe.
They forget you dropped 80 like 24. Rest in peace, Kobe, real quick. I thought you say it, man. You spazzed on that track.
You heard me, Doc. You heard me. So
yeah, man, you definitely spazzed. If that ain't gonna wake them up to understand what Kenyadda is all about, I don't know what will at this point.
And they gonna hear about me, Doc. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you having me on too.
Nah, you already know, but let's talk about why you're here, right? So we actually had this segment that's still ongoing, but it's called Selection Sunday, where we asked artists to send us some music. Yada sent some music over, and man, I'm pretty sure you sent D.A.B.S, and I just remember when I played it, you just snapped on that entire track, and then you just started dropping these "What Have You Done Lately" projects, and just from there, I realized I was like, yeah, this guy's definitely got something going on. He's got to come on the show. I got to definitely talk with him. But yeah, I really love your music. I love what you got going on right now, man. But I feel like, you know, and we kind of alluded to it earlier, you're one of these underestimated style artists. What do you think it is that people sleep on you the most for? Like what do you think that they oversee every single time? Like that's a common trend for you.
You know what? I guess artists with similar styles as me, if you look at their backstory, it always takes
Oh, I think we lost. How about this? I'll give you an extra track from Kenyadda real quick. I'll pull it up right here on my phone. All right. So we'll go a song early real quick before he comes back, and then I'll add another song. Oh, wait, he's already back. Let's see. We got you back now? No, I still can't hear you. Oh, man. But yeah, let's give you that track real quick. So this track right here is called Come Home by Kenyadda featuring DJ KD. Tune on in right here on Emano Talk.
Yeah. Will you come home with me? I'm saying, will you come home with me? Yada, baby, yeah. Will you come home with me? And I'm saying, man, I'm coming. Will you come home with me? Moving like I am a threat. Cause I know it, yeah, they call me Keith, but I don't sweat. And women know it. If I seen a mill at 21, I would have blowed it, but I'm 1,000 there right now. And Pat Mahomes is how they throw it. Imagine when I get bread. My doctor say I'm sick in the head. 3K to expedite to see that shit spread. Tread carefully through IG. It's just how I play it. I guess I die living my life on this edge. Almost shattered, but I'm back with steak knives and a platter. In the studio, whipping this shit up like batter. Oh, he can rap his ass off, but you know none of that matters. If the hits ain't coming in, I'm hanging for all the shit I got running in, but never move bass. Expressions how I move faces, words that'll make the mood shake. What? I turn a 9 to 5 to Warren Buffett. My white girl is butt naked, fried chicken cutlets. Damn, my black girl tried to disown me, lasted 24 hours. Met her at this local bar and talked to actor Eddie Bauer. Afterwards, got sarcastic, fucking huggy you power. If the cops did a sweeper, she gon' eat that chowder. Hope it never get to that. Long as I'm a rap juggler, pack smuggler, filled with lyrics, Lamont Cole. I feel the spirit in the building every time I touch a mic. Never scared of a rapper, I'm the bone crusher type. Will you come home with me? Will you come home with me?
All right, let's see if we got Kenyadda back now. Here we are. Let's see. There we go. Now we can hear you. We got you back. We can't see you though. Is there something going on now with the visuals? If not, we can at least hear you. You're there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the visuals.
Oh, good. We could go audio at least for now. We could, you know, as long as we can hear you. That's the beauty of podcasts, right?
Yep.
But yeah. So right before we had lost you, I kind of forgot fully what we were talking about, but to an extent, we were just ultimately talking about the idea of your artistry and what people really underestimated about you the most. So you know, just kind of diving back into there.
So basically, I was saying that I think artists or similar artists, you may say, that make the type of music I make. If you go back to history, you know how they got discovered and whatnot. It was similar. You know, it was a similar path, and people underestimated them because it's harder to see the vision. You know, especially of lyricists, it's harder to see their vision until it's in full effect. You know, it happened with Kanye West. It happened, you know, with J. Cole. You know, he tells the story. It happened with Jay-Z. You know, so it happens to a lot of, you know, to a lot of greats or a lot of people who make similar music like me. And I think in due time that they will get to see me, you know, in my full entity.
No, absolutely. I get exactly where you're coming from. I feel like every time someone great is coming up, they're completely misunderstood. And people throw them into these categories of being someone who just has no understanding of how the world should be. But a lot of people forget you can find the idea of a successful version of living can't really be upset, and it goes into the same idea of artistry. Like, well, artistry, you don't really want anybody to feel like their form of art can be excluded or their styles excluded, but you want to be able to show that, you know what, can this one test the sound of can this one test the stand of time, because longevity is the real key in all of this.
Yeah, that's definitely the key, you know, longevity. I think that's number one, you know. That should be number one on
Nah,
everybody's list, you know. Whatever you do, longevity. So I just
yeah,
think when I
we're in
when
it
I
in the
make a
long
record,
haul.
I just feel when I make a record, I want to touch someone, you know what I'm saying? So I guess it goes back to that question you say, like, if it doesn't touch someone the way that I want it to touch someone, you know, it makes it me think like, did they hear what I just said, you know? But I know sometimes it takes a little bit more time with certain records, or to reach certain people because certain albums I maybe didn't get when I was younger. When I got older, I was like, oh man, he said this. Okay, this made sense. He was ahead of his time, or whatever, you know.
No, absolutely. I definitely like that you got that mentality now because it's definitely going to keep you in for that long haul as planned. But what can we expect from Kenyadda in 2021? What's coming up in 2021 or even, you know, leading into 2022 sooner rather than later?
So, well, 2021 leading to 2022. Well, I'm definitely planning on dropping an album this year, and to keep in touch with my fans. I do want to continue the lately series, maybe get a new series going, but I'm definitely working with a lot of different artists in different states, working with a lot of different producers, uh, from Vegas, actually working with Quicks, dope producer. I'm definitely just trying to get myself out there a little bit more and collaborate with more people. And I just I just partnered with a label in Florida, led by Ghost Rider Rebellion Records. So that happened at the top of this year when I dropped lately too. So definitely getting my records to bigger places.
Yeah, and congratulations on that, man. Shout out to Rebellion Records. It's funny how the world works, right? You connect with someone in Florida, the next thing you know, these kinds of things happen. And I don't even know if it was attributed to that, but it's cool to see that kind of networking happening between my state and yours, man. But congratulations nonetheless. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Man, I appreciate it, Doc. It definitely was a blessing, and I just kind of followed a path, what I'm saying, that the person upstairs has for me, and I got into it with Rebellion, what I'm saying. We reached out to each other, and from there it's kind of history, like-minded individuals, a bunch of dope individuals at Rebellion, what I'm saying. So I'm definitely just trying to add value, and take it to the moon.
Yeah, man. Congratulations again. But we're probably gonna look to wrap things up from there. So let the people know, where can they find you at?
Um, I'm Kenyadda. You can find me anywhere, search me on Google, Spotify, Apple, Instagram. It's all Kenyadda, Kenyadda. Kenyadda, baby. You can find me everywhere, Doc.
You already know. And y'all make sure you go on social media. Make sure you follow us at Emano Talk. That's at EMANOTALK on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, on all podcast platforms, like, comment, all that good stuff. We'll be back Sunday. I know we were supposed to be on last Sunday with Lil Trey, but this Sunday we'll be on with Lil Trey. Had a little bit of a delay in the scheduling, but we will be making up that show this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So y'all make sure you tune in. And next Thursday, we end the month of March with Young Mars. So that's also going to be a great show. He's straight from Miramar. He'll be here live. So y'all tune on into that. But otherwise, y'all go enjoy your beautiful Thursday night. I know I will. I got myself a glass of red wine and some good old food waiting for me outside of this room. But yeah, Kenyadda, we appreciate you pulling up. Y'all make sure that y'all go follow him. A hot artist out of Vegas, straight from Chicago, who just is trying to spit some fire bars. And we're going to end the ninth inning right and close this out like Mariano Rivera with this last track. It's called Ninth Inning by Kenyadda. So y'all tune on in right here on Emano Talk, and we'll catch y'all on Sunday. Be easy.
For sure, Doc.
Half y'all niggas kinda look like Cisco. The antics getting out of control. You can't exchange them moves for a hit though. The bar's light, but y'all ain't the gun bar king. Before I wrote this, I was playing Charlene. Yeah, nigga, rhythm and blues just to get in my bag. For my brothers, I'm like Sean, I would give them my last. For my family, I'm like Gucci, take the shirt off my back. Y'all do anything to nitpick, take dirt from the past. You keep climbing up the hill when it hurts so bad. Why does this music feel good? Still touch my soul. I know some people back home hoping I only go gold, but then again, this nigga saying that I'm the best thing told. And my family like, when? No, we more like the dungeon. I was so long, had to break down the. But when the money start coming, 3 ways on the phone, like what the fuck you becoming? I reply like Blizz, you only blessed with your sneeze. She took it out of context, I'm like, girl, we got needs. All that praying on your knees, therapeutic, but please, it's a breeze when you got it and you pay shit with ease. Why it's more spins, more flows to the cipher. Fuck clout, niggas better pay the piper. Fuck a list, tell me who will coexist. Marathon, y'all niggas still in the blitz. After you peak, niggas try to usher you out. I'm still in the mix.